Hello, welcome to Late Night Creations. So glad you're here. I'm Kendra. Today I have a video with 3 bunnies. And actually the first one is 3 bunnies. They're little planters. I got it Aldi a couple years ago and they had plants in them. You got it. I killed the plants. And so I decided, because I never throw anything away, you know, I'm a hoarder, I decided to put some little flowers in them. I got these little flower bunches at Dollar Tree and I just kind of cut them apart because these planters are really small, and I just put them in there. Everything I already had in my stash, and so I just created it. And the other thing was something that I had found actually under the bathroom sink that had been there for a while, and it was a cute little something I guess the grandkids had. I don't really remember where it came from, and I remade that into something really cute for Easter. And then the last one is from a calendar I got at Dollar Tree last year. It's a 2021 calendar, but like I said, it was out of my stash. I'm a hoarder of craft items. So let's get started with this video. Give it a thumbs up and go ahead and hit the subscribe, the little red subscribe. Go ahead, hit that. You know you want to. And let's get started with crafting. Okay, here's this little box I found that I think the grandkids brought over and left. It looks like it came from Walmart, 97 cents, who knows how long ago. So we're going to get rid of this little ribbon, and we're going to get rid of the owl. I was thinking the bunny might fit over the owl, but nope, didn't fit. So we're just going to get rid of that owl, and then I'm going to give it a coat of this paint by Waverly in Mineral. And it took 2 coats. You'll see that the first coat did not cover well, but just give it a quick coat all the way around and just a little bit on the inside, just in case some of that shows. I'll try to not make it show, but just in case it does. So I'm just going to give it a good, you can see that one coat is not covering it good, but, and it's a little, you can see it's shiny. So it's a little slick, so it doesn't cover very good. It was kind of, the paint was kind of sliding around, but it worked. The first coat, I just didn't get it on there very good, and then the second coat went on great. So let that dry, put on the second coat, and it worked out good. And I get a little impatient, so sometimes I get out my heat gun and give it a good whirl with the heat gun so that it will dry it faster. And that thing gets hot, so it dries it pretty fast. Now I picked up these craft sticks at Dollar Tree, and they're pretty thin, so they cut really easy with the scissors. So I'm just going to measure and kind of get that angle of the box and then just cut them. And I'm going to do them one at a time and glue them on so that I can see how they're going to fit, because I'm not really good with angles. But anyway, I'm just going to glue them on with some hot glue. The hot glue works fine with this. So see, I'm just going to lay the second one up there. I'm just going to make my dots, and then just cut from one dot to the other, dot to dot, just like in elementary school. But I should have overlapped this a little over the edges, just a tiny bit, because when I do the second side, you'll see in a bit, I show you that there's a little bit of a gap, but I end up putting that on the back side because I did catch my error. And instead of peeling them all off and starting over, I just put it on the back side. And I don't think it's really that big a deal. I am kind of pedantic about a lot of things, but if you can put it on the back or kind of cover it up, I'm not going to be that, it's not going to be that big a deal. So here we go, all the way to the top. Now it's not going to go all the way to the top. I'm not going to split one of those horizontally. I'm going to put some twine around that top up there. I'm about to grab some and show you. Then I'm going to wrap that twine around the top at the end. So not to worry about that. Continue all the way around the box. Not sure where I went there, but went to get something. So you see those little gaps I'm telling you about where I should have overlapped it? So on this last one, I'm going to go all the way to the outside edges. I'd rather overlap it a little bit. And I'm trying to get close to show you. And there, I've told you in former videos that I'm a little clumsy. But here we go. I'm going to mark them all the way to the outside, making sure I've got it in position so that it'll be good. And I'm going to use that just to make a little straight line to make sure that I get this straight, because this side is going to matter. So I'm just going to double check that. Make sure that I got the marks right. You know, measure twice, cut once. That's how the saying goes. However, I'm using very cheap craft sticks, not expensive wood. So you can afford to make a little mistake if you have to, but I don't like to have to glue it and then rip it off. That's the problem. So see, it overlaps a little bit, but that looks great. I like that. So I'm going to do it all the way to the top there, and I left you again, and now it's all done. So the sides all matched up. Good. Thumbs up. Back side we're not going to worry about. And then the little bunny, I'm going to make it sit on the back, so I'm going to put a craft stick. I'm trying to find the back side. I'm going to put a craft stick where it sticks up, so I have a little platform for the bunny to sit on. I think that little bunny's cute. I got a pack of those. I want to say there's either 5 or 8. Sometimes there's 5, sometimes there's 8 in a pack at Dollar Tree. And I like that the edges are kind of look like a burned wood or something. I don't know. Now we're going to take this antique wax by Folk Art. It's a antiquing wax. It's not really a paint, but I'm going to dry brush it on the edges a little bit. You can leave it plain if you want, but I think this just adds a little, you know, I like that dimension, and I like how it looks a little aged or a little bit worn. It just looks more like kind of a normal wood stain or wood grain to it. And I'm not doing a whole lot, just kind of dry brushing it on there a little bit. And it's translucent as well because it's more like a glaze or a wax. So, and it dries super fast. So it's dry. We're done. So now I'm going to take the twine, like I told you before we were going to do, and we're going to, well, you can use the thicker or the thinner from Dollar Tree, or I'm showing you the difference. See, the one from Dollar Tree is thinner. Not a whole lot, but it is thinner than the one that I picked up on, pretty sure I got that on Amazon. So I'm just going to put a little glue and stick it around and just wrap it around, gluing it every once in a while, making sure that there's no gaps. Sticking it down good, get it close to those craft sticks so that there's no gaps. And for some reason there's a wider gap on the front. So I ended up having to cut it in, you'll see. So I only have like 2 layers there, but then when I get to the front, 2 layers is not enough. So you see how there's that extra gap. But no worries, we can fix that. So just keep going and then cut it. Love this little silicone finger protector. I get those at Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of, I'm going to say there's 4 in a pack. There's my handy dandy tweezers I use. I tell you, I use them on every craft. You need to have a good pair of tweezers. So here I'm going to just put the twine across the front so it doesn't have to wrap all the way around. And I just kind of incorporate that to the edge. And there you go. Maybe it needs one more little piece so you don't see that, because that is the front. If that were on the back, it really wouldn't matter that much. And I'm going to press that edge of that little frayed part of the twine down in with the glue so it doesn't fray anymore. Get that glue in there good and press it down
So see how that works. Now, be careful with this if you're not comfortable, but I don't like all those little hairs of that sticking out. So you can take a lighter and kind of burn those little hairs. But, you know, if you're not comfortable with that, you can just maybe try to trim them off with your scissors. But I like to just burn those off a little bit. And then clean up with my little Ladybug desktop vacuum cleaner. Love her. She's handy dandy. She's a good little tool to have if you craft. She picks up glitter really good too. Now, my white chalk paint from Rust-Oleum. That's a staple in my craft room. Give this little bunny a good coat. Covers really good. I'm trying to keep it off the edges because I really do like the look of that kind of brown burnt edge. I'm sure when they cut it out, that's just what happens. Now you can see my paint is a little bit thick, so I just have that little spray bottle. It's so handy to have. I just have it hanging on that drawer. One of these days I'm going to show y'all what's in what I reach in down there. It's like 12-inch cubbies down there, and I have some little 12-inch, what do you call them? They're little boxes that slide in my 12-inch cubbies. So they're not really drawers, but I use them like drawers, and so I have that little bottle just hanging off the edge of that. So it works really good. I can just reach in there from where I'm standing to craft. Okay, these little eggs were 90% off. And I did not necessarily get the colors I wanted at 90% off from Hobby Lobby after Easter last year. So I thought I would cut them, cut them, oh my word. So they were 59 cents for that whole bag. So I think I'm going to use this pink. Whoa, poured a whole bunch of pink in that little favor cup. Let me pour a little bit back into my cup. And then I'm going to use a little bit of this kind of blue, pretty blue. I love blue. Blue's my favorite color, and that blue is one of my favorite colors. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put this in here, roll them around, give them a nice coat. Yeah, well, that's a little bit too much paint. I tried to pour it into another cup. Roll it around. Let's try this. Let's try it in another cup. Roll it around. It just really wasn't working. It wouldn't cover. Maybe if I would have let it dry, give it another coat. You know what? It was really just kind of wearing me out. I don't know. I just didn't have the patience for it that day or what. So I tried to just paint them in my hand. It was really just wearing me out. I don't know. You can see I'm like going back and forth. I never even tried with the pink. Yeah, I'm trying. But I'm like, okay, let me try this little bowl that's a little bit bigger. Maybe I can just roll them around in there. I do this with wooden beads all the time. You know, roll them around in there and get the paint on them. You can see I really tried, guys, but this just was not working for me. So, yep, I'm a little bit frustrated with these eggs, so this is what I do. Give up. Forget it. We're just going to use the eggs the way they came. Wipe all that paint off my hands and be done. So now we're going to give this bunny some dimension. And we're going to use this Aged Gray by Rust-Oleum. And I've got a little kind of chippy brush. It's kind of just a worn out brush, actually a stencil brush that's kind of worn out. A little bit of paint on there, wipe most of it off, and then just go around the edges. Just getting a little bit of paint on there just to give him a little dimension. I still want him to be white, but just a little bit of that gray gives him a little outline, a little shadow effect. I don't really want him to look dirty. I just want to give him a little dimension. And you can do whatever you want. It would be cute if you wanted to use a little pink on his ears. That would be cute too. I didn't even think about that when I was doing it, but that would be cute if you wanted to add a little color to this. If you wanted a little pink in there instead of green and yellow. So now I'm going to glue the bunny on that little lip we made on the back. And I really should have put the handle on at this point, but I was super excited about getting this grass. I don't even know where this grass came from. I've probably had it for several years. I've been using this grass on a lot of different projects. It goes a long way. You can buy Easter grass after the season, super cheap, because there's always a bunch of grass left over in the stores. So my advice to you is buy stuff after the season because it's so much cheaper. So I just throw these little eggs in there. They ended up looking really cute this color. I'm okay with it. Especially I'm not gonna allow myself to get super frustrated. So this wire jute I found at Dollar Tree. I was really excited about it when I found this, and I had it for a while and haven't used it. I'm gonna see how much I need to make a little handle. Because remember, we cut that little ribbon handle off in the beginning. Now it started fraying off the wire when I cut it, so I'm trying to twist it around and then bend the wire up to keep it from fraying. However, when we put the hot glue on, it'll kind of keep it from doing that. So we're just going to hot glue it to the inside of the little wooden basket, right about in the middle. Now it takes a minute because the wire, I don't know why it takes so long, but it does take a minute. Now I'm using my little tool, my little cricket weeding tool. And then I got eggs going everywhere. See, I should have put that handle on before I put the grass in, but I didn't. That's okay. Sometimes I do things a little backwards, but it all gets done in the end. Yeah, this is taking this a little bit of time to dry, this glue, but just have to be patient with it. Okay, pop our little eggs back in. Oh my gosh, I think this turned out so adorable. I have it sitting on the table underneath my TV, and it is so cute. Now make a little twine bow, wrapping it around my fingers, tying it right in the middle. Well, let's start over because I lost it. Okay, wrap it around your fingers, tie it right in the middle, and I like to just leave those little pieces on there too, and have 4 little tails because I have like 6 little loops. You can cut it off right in the middle if you want to. Glue it right up there over that hole, so I didn't have to spackle that hole. Yeah, sorry that's not in frame. I moved it, so I think that's super cute. Okay, bunny number 2. I had gotten these at Aldi a few years ago, and yeah, the plants died, so we're going to put some artificial ones in because I won't kill them. Okay, so I didn't have enough of the floral foam, so I have this styrofoam. I told you in a former video that someone donated me a whole boatload full, so I have a bunch. And now I'm using this handy dandy, what is this called? It's some kind of hot knife. And it melts this foam like butter. Would you look at this? Oh my gosh, I love this thing. So I'm going to go all the way around this thing. So Natalie over at Design to the Nines taught me about this hot knife. This thing is amazing. I love it. No, I didn't measure it quite right because it needs to be a little smaller than what the bottom is so it'll fit down in there. So you just trim it around. This is so fun. Now that thing is hot. You see it smoking? So I had to be careful, but it is so fun to do that. So I don't know what I'm doing. I need to get that out of there so I can trace that one to make the other 3. Let's work smarter, not harder. Okay, here we go. Trace 2 more, cut them out. And I'm actually going to do that on camera because it is so fun. I want you to see this. These things are not expensive. I'm going to try to see if I got that on Amazon. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm going to link it in the description box below because this is just fun. It's so fun. Oh gosh. It does make a little bit of an odor. My grandkids are like, oh, that smells bad. Now I'm going to try to put it over there so I don't accidentally touch it. Tiny bit of hot glue so they don't come out when I'm trying to put my little florals in. Now I thought I was going to use this green stuff. That's green stuff. I have good vocabulary. These green leafy, they're not florals because they're not flowers, plants. because they look a little bit like the tops of carrots, right? They have a little bit of, you know, I just think they look like the tops of carrots for some reason. So I thought that would be cute in the bunny planters. But they were long and they were floppy and I couldn't make them look right. And I've told y'all before, I am not good with floral arranging. That is my daughter-in-law Erica's job. She's the bomb. She works at a florist in the little town where she lives. I could give a shout out to Olney Floral. They do amazing work if you're in that area. Or if you want to send flowers to somebody in Olney, then you just call up there and ask Erica to send something beautiful and she'll make it happen. So I picked these up at Dollar Tree. I've had them in my stash and they are beautiful. So I just cut a bunch of little pieces off and start poking them in there till I think they look okay. Whether they look okay or not, you can decide. You can probably make yours look cuter. So the whole point of this is you buy a little plant, you buy a big plant, you kill it. Don't throw away the planter. You can do something else with it. You can plant another live plant in it. You can plant some artificials in it. You can do some other amazing things with it. Stay tuned. We may do something. I've seen some of my favorite crafters make tables out of old planters. Turn them upside down, put a piece of wood or glass on top, and make an outdoor table for their side table for their outside furniture. So here they are. Super cute. I have them on my bar. There you go. They're on my bar with my other spring decorations, and I think they're so cute. All right, bunny number 3. This one was super duper easy. So here, this was last year, Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this side, took the label off. I don't want to sand all that glitter. Nobody wants to sand all that glitter off. So, took a piece of, this was actually some old wrapping paper I had, but most of the time I'm using that, you know, packing paper that you use to wrap packages to mail. So just using a glue stick that I get off Amazon. They work really good. You can use the ones from Dollar Tree too. I just buy these in bulk. I use them for Sunday school. I use them for crafting. So I'm doing it a little bit at a time because it dries really fast. So just get it on there good. This is the back side. This is going to be the back side. So get a lot on there. And I like using the purple one because I can see where it is. You can see where you've put the glue. And then I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife out of that little air quote drawer and flip it over. Now, sometimes I will use my mat and then just put it on the table. I'm lifting it off just a little bit so the X-Acto knife goes through. I am working on a piece of cardboard covered with paper, so I could have just used it and poked it through, but this works so quick and easy. If you use scissors, you can't get really close to it. So, I mean, look at that. Now, I've got a few little edges where the glue either dried too fast or I didn't get enough glue on it. So I'm just going to go around it and re-glue it. Easy peasy. That glue was empty, so I threw it in the floor. Not really. I have a trash can down there. Okay, bought this calendar at Dollar Tree last year, 2021. And April's had a cute little bunny on it. It might have been March. I don't know. So I'm trying to see if it's going to fit on there, and it looks like it's going to fit great. Yeah, I had a little paint on there left over from another project. I'm going to dry that off. Oh, from that bunny a while ago. So it's going to work. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to trim around it. Now, I don't even care if it's that close around the edges. And you will see why later. So I'm just going to trim roughly around the edges. It doesn't matter if some of that white is left. See how I'm trimming it, but not super, super close? And you will see why, and you're going to see that it's going to turn out so cute. I'm telling you, this is an easy DIY that is going to look so cute, and I mean high-end too. Okay, see this? Now, the background of this is white, so I'm going to use my white paint, and I'm just going to give it one good coat because it covers good. Now, this absorbs the paint really fast. It dries really fast with this chalk paint. So I'm giving it one really good coat. That's all it needs. You can see a little bit of that, I I guess we'll call it brown through that, but it's okay because the background of that calendar is not solid anyway. Okay, do you see how good this is looking so far? All right, now I'm going to make those lines. See those lines across there? Well, I decided that I need to trim it down a little bit more because some of those pieces were hanging off the edge, I think. So I needed to trim it down just a wee bit more, just so they didn't hang off the edge, which is fine. No worries. Now, I think that's going to work good. Okay, so those lines that look like boards, shiplap, look like that. So I'm marking where they are, so that it will extend out past our image. So, because we want it to look like it's part of it. So I'm taking my ruler and making lines across there. Then I'm going to take the Truffle by Waverly in the color Truffle, and a tiny little paintbrush, and I'm going to use this ruler. Now, no need to go all the way across because our image is going to be covering most of it up. So we're just going to go along the edges. Now, I'm going to make sure that that's enough. Look at that. Can you look at that? Thumbs up. Now, wipe that paint off the ruler so we don't get it all over our little wood round. There we go. Make some more lines. And we're going to do this for all of those lines. Wiping that ruler because, oh, let me tell you how many times I've made smudges. And every time I'm making sure that those lines match up because I would rather go ahead and fix them right now. And if they don't match up, just paint white over it once it's dry and redo them. But look at how that matches up. Would you look at that? Yeah, that makes me excited. Okay, now we're going to take that chippy brush again and dry brush over that. Because if you look at that calendar, it kind of looks like that. Now, this truffle is kind of a cool color. And you see in there that there's that golden color. And then there's two different colors of brown. There's the golden and then there's the dark. So this wax is more golden. You can see on the paper where I've wiped off for the dry brushing that there's the golden and then there's the more cool. And so we're going to put both of those in here so that it looks like it matches up. Then I'm going to put it down. To make it really, really incorporate in, I'm going to use both of them. I'm going to use it on my calendar too. That's a little hack. And you can just put a little bit of that paint on there so that it just ties it all together. I love this. This is one of my favorite things to do. So here we go. Now we are going to Mod Podge. Use Mod Podge to glue it. You know, I got to wipe off all the crumbs. Get it nice and smooth. Then we're going to Mod Podge. Use Mod Podge as glue. Oh, I'm going to show you how to make a hanger for it first. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So just take a little piece of twine and a little piece of ribbon, a little piece of fabric. A lot of times I use a little piece of muslin or a little piece of canvas drop cloth that I have scraps, whatever I have scraps of. Now, I'm going to find the center, and then I'm going to put it so it hangs straight. Now, many times I've had to rip off hangers because I just thought I was putting it, especially if it's round. Okay, so there's the hanger. Now, I want to make it a little more sturdy with this piece of cloth. This little piece of ribbon. You can use ribbon, you can use a little piece of cloth, you can just whatever. We just make it a little more sturdy. So put a little extra glue over there and just put that on there so it's going to hold that down. It's not going to come loose and fall off the wall. And it still looks okay. So there you go, sturdy. That's where that hole was. So we want to make sure the center of the hole is going to line up with where it's going to hang. Of course, you know I always like to sign my name to my artwork. So here, Late Night Creations. I cut this out on my Solo Starcraft using my Frisco transfer tape. We're going to transfer this little decal onto the back side as my signature. Now the Solo Starcraft cuts these teeny tiny little letters out so good. Cricut, not so much. I use both machines for different jobs. I love them both. I'm so blessed to be able to have both. I do realize that. So, get all my little crumbs off. That drives me crazy. So, I like to work in a semi-clean atmosphere. Okay. Can we Mod Podge now, please? Yes. There we go. Mod Podge as our glue. Trying not to get crumbs all over everything, so I'm opening it over the trash can. I do have a trash can down there. I'm going to put it all over this. Now, it dries so fast too, y'all. You're going to have to get a bunch on there so that it will stay moist. And even though this is in double time, I am doing it pretty fast. And then just, you know, slop it on there pretty good, but put it pretty evenly too. And then get that calendar, get that image on there as quickly as possible, lining up all of those lines that we painted on there, and then smooth it out. Try not to have any little air bubbles. Now, Mod Podge is going to make wrinkles. Don't freak out about that. Okay, don't freak out about the wrinkles. They will smooth out when it dries. Now, I'm going to put a little Mod Podge under the edges that started drying out. And then sometimes those wrinkles are because there was some dry under there, but it will smooth out, I promise. And then I'm going to put it around the edge, get all the edges done, and then I'm going to put a little thin coat on top too, just to seal it. And it will just be beautiful and professional, and I want you to do this because you will be so excited and so happy with how it turns out. You can use any image. You could print an image off on your computer. I've seen some really cute ones with like the Peter Cottontail Farm, all kinds of stuff. I just had this calendar in my stash. I was like, I need to be using up these images from this calendar, so I'm probably going to be doing quite a few crafts with this calendar. So yeah, just trying to get all these edges smoothed down. Yep. And Mod Podge all over it. So I'm going to let it dry. Me fanning it does not make it dry, but it dries super fast. Now we're going to make a bow with this beautiful ribbon I picked up at Sam's Club. A huge roll of it. I used this at a baby shower I did, so I just had it already pulled off. So I'm kind of measuring how big I want my loops. I'm just going to make 2 big loops. And it's the same on both sides, so we don't have to worry about there being a front or a back. So, and I'm going to pull them up to the center to make sure that the loops are the same size. And then cut that tail off. Then I'm going to use a little piece of twine to tie around the middle. And just tie it in a little double knot. Make sure it's nice and secure. And then I'm just cut that little excess off. And then just fluff it up a little bit. Now for that center, sometimes I'll take a little piece of ribbon and make a little circle. Tie a little piece of twine around that, and then just tie it once, and then tie it to the middle of our bow, like that. And you can have a bow that looks like that. That's not what I want today, obviously. Now I ripped that off pretty quick. I'm going to make another double bow, a tiny bit smaller than that one, to put in the center. So same little concept, but I'm not going to have any tails on this one. So I'm just going to make it, put a little piece of twine, wrap around the center, tie it to the other bow. And voila, we have 4-loop bow. And just fluff it, pull it, twist it, fluff it. It's wired. I'm going to cut off that little piece that was kind of a tail. I'm going to fold these in half and dovetail it. Nope, I didn't dovetail it. I pointed it. Let's do it the other direction to dovetail it. And I think that looks really cute. I love this ribbon. I don't know if you want to call it buffalo check or just plaid or check, but I think it's such a pretty neutral color. And I'm going to glue this to the very tip top so it doesn't cover up our little bunny. I decide that one's too long. Let's trim it off just a little bit. Lay it out. Now the one thing about making things laying flat is you have to remember when you hang it on the wall it looks a little different. So you need to kind of pick it up and look at it like it's going to hang on the wall. That's one thing I did not do with this. So at the very, very end, after we're off camera, I ended up having to kind of redo it a little bit. So I think that these little florals look like the leaves in the picture. I got these off Amazon to decorate for a baby shower, and I have just used these. So they were a very good buy. You can just search for greenery on Amazon, and there's all kinds. Those need to be ironed. I would just get out my little press and iron those out later for another project, but I'm just going to pop a few of these in. Like I said, I'm not the best at florals or greenery or any of that, but this is pretty simple. If I can't do this, I'm in trouble. So I'm just poking it under there, putting a little glue on it, get it under there. And then, see, those need to be ironed, and I will iron them because I'm not going to waste. Because we like to craft on a budget. We like things not to be expensive, so this craft really is pretty inexpensive. Now I go get this little flower. I should have edited that part out, but here you go. I got these little flowers at Dollar Tree, and they look like they're kind of made out of corn husk. I don't know. And so I glue it to the middle. And this is the part I should have done, like how it was hanging on the wall. And there you go. Super cute. Got my bunny holding it. A bunny holding a bunny. How about that? Love it.